If you are an ACCA student, affiliate, or even a member, there's a good chance that you came across their content at some point of the journey. Why did you choose audit over any other career?
I did not choose the career. It just landed because I was very, very excited to get into the audit domain, but then very early on, I realized that this career is probably not for me.
It is really an expensive qualification as of now.
For all of my, my essay coachings and my exam fees, registration fees, everything with my own personal savings.
Research before even you join in, instead of having a FOMO like that person got into Big Four just because of
Yeah,
ACCA, but you actually
definitely.
don't know like what was the particular set of interests that they chose that.
Right now, if a student comes from school or like bachelor's, we have a tendency to rote learn. हम लोग rectification as Indians, हम लोग rectification में
Yep.
बहुत believe करते हैं. A student who does not understand any concept, rather than rote learning, the student can simply go to ChatGPT, ask them real life examples, and help them understand things.
It would have been hectic because of the Trump factor.
Suddenly he says there's a war, so the market trembles down. Suddenly he says we are agreeing for a ceasefire, and then the markets are 2% up. We feel, what if we do not get this job? This is the end of the world. And that is when we become more underconfident.
How are you able to manage all of those things?
Something that you really enjoy, जो आपको अच्छा लगता है, what you are passionate about. It's just what you enjoy to do. It doesn't feel like a burden. It's something that, okay, oh wow, I have to take a class, so that's great.
Many students are concerned about the automation and the increasing use of AI tools. And we have seen layoffs in other industries, right?
Somebody who thinks that the same traditional work is going to run for next 20, 30 years is a stupid person. Let's just say that. So if you want to be irreplaceable, do not worry that AI will take your job. AI will not do that. AI will rather help you do your job better.
Hello and welcome everyone to the fifth episode of ACE podcast, where we explore the journeys of professionals across accounting, finance, audit, and related fields and uncover the lessons, experiences, and insights that have shaped their career. So today's episode is a little bit special because we don't have one guest, we have two. And honestly, if you are an ACCA student, affiliate, or even a member, there's a good chance that you came across their content at some point of your journey. So whether it's regarding exam guidance, study resources, mentorship, lectures, career advisors, or simply getting your ACCA related doubts resolved, being ACCA has become a go-to platform for thousands of students. So what makes their journey even more interesting is that they have built and grown this community alongside their full-time professional career, which is really commendable. Firstly, thank you, both of you, for taking time to join today. So I'm delighted to welcome Punya and Tushita to the podcast. So to get started, could you both briefly introduce yourself and just a little bit about your journey till now?
Sure. Thank you for introducing us and for your kind words as well.
Mhm.
So hi everyone, I am Punya Aggarwal. I'm an ACCA affiliate. I'm currently working in EY from past 3.5 years. And yeah, I'm from Delhi, done my bachelor's from Delhi University alongside with ACCA, done bachelor's with ACCA. And yeah, and me and Tushita together build up being ACCA when we were back in college.
Okay. And Tushita?
Yes. So our journeys, Punya and I, they both overlap because we started ACCA together, we finished ACCA together, and
Mhm.
during our journey itself, we got the idea of starting something like being ACCA. A
Mhm.
little bit about myself. I'm an ACCA affiliate. I took all my 13 papers, we both of us without any exemptions. So that's a proud thing to, I
Yes.
say that with pride because so many people are now just picking out the easier route. And talking about my educational qualifications apart from ACCA, I hold two bachelor's degrees. One is the BCom honors from Delhi University, and another is the OBU, the Oxford Brookes BSc in Applied Accounting degree. Further, I used to work in the one of the big fours earlier in the audit domain, but for the past 3 years, I've been in the core finance domain where I work at a leading stockbroking firm here in Delhi. So my role is of a portfolio strategist and a derivatives trader. And apart from that, that's my 9 to 5, and then remaining 5 to 9 is being ACCA, helping more and more number of students. So yeah.
Okay, okay. So really inspiring journey, both of you have. So I will start from the beginning. Firstly, let's start with your ACCA journey. And like, firstly, I would like to understand, like, how did you come across ACCA? Like, there were there qualifications as well? How did you choose ACCA, and why did you think that it was the right qualification for you?
Okay, so I'll begin. So we were back in like COVID, it was around COVID time, and that is when we were just done with our 12th, and we did not genuinely had anything to do apart from just scrolling on Instagram, watching reels, etc. Playing games also. But then there was a tutor of mine who used to teach me accounts in 11th and 12th. He introduced me to ACCA. His daughter was also doing ACCA, and then he said that I think you have the potential and you have the time because you don't have anything to do right now. And back then, our college also did not start back then because of the COVID. So we did not do a lot of research, which is I think a thing that we now recommend students to do. That was one mistake I would say, which me and Tushita both did. I just talked to Tushita about it because from childhood we are childhood best friends, and from childhood everything we have done together. So this was also one of the things that I mentioned, and then she was like, yeah, let's do something. And then we did little bit of research for the qualification, not too much, because at that point in time not a lot of people knew about ACCA. So online maybe we did not had a lot of sources to look out for, even Instagram, etc. So we did a basic research and then we just dived into it, we registered for it, and then we started with the knowledge level felt super easy because back then, again, as I said, we did not had anything to do just from first start rather than just studying something. So we started with it, and within the matter of I think 3 months we were done with our knowledge level before we started with our actual college. And then our journey began. So that is how we got to know about the qualification. Did not do a lot of research, but I would say students to do proper research, because nowadays also there are a lot of students who start because of the peer pressure or because somebody is doing a professional qualification and they do not do a proper research, and then they, in the middle of their journey, they realize that this is something that they do not like. We liked accounting, we liked finance, hence I think it turned out to be pretty good for us. But for the students currently watching, I would recommend you to do proper research, because right now you have so many other options. Back in the day also we did had the options, but I think that is one mistake that we did, and I would recommend the people to not do the same mistake again.
Yeah, true. And one of the thing is that it is really an expensive qualification as of now, because when I started and when even you would have started, the pound was around 100 or 105. But as we talk about
I think
right
Tushita
now,
would
it is
remember
around.
what the pound rate was when we were
I
studying.
clearly remember, I paid for all of my, my essay coachings and my exam fees, registration fees, everything with my own personal savings. I had thought that, whatever professional career I build, I want to build it on my own. So all my fees went from my own personal savings. So I remember each and every time
It's in
the money was debited from my account. So yeah, when we were doing, the pound kept on fluctuating anywhere between 100 and 105 rupees per pound.
Mhm. Yeah, and like nowadays we have multiple resources on YouTube and LinkedIn everywhere. So you can have a research before even you join in, instead of having a FOMO like that person got into Big Four just because of
Yeah.
ACCA. But you actually
Definitely.
don't know like what was the particular set of interests that they chose that. So there are multiple things that you need to take into consideration, and thank you to Being ACCA as well to support with such journeys. So like I have seen multiple videos. So like it's about just today I checked. You have around 1,000 videos uploaded in your YouTube channel, right? So like that's a
Even we did
crazy
not know that.
consistency. And even you started like last 3 years, I guess you would have started. It has been 3 years, right? So considering that it is almost like one day a video. So like that's crazy consistency for you.
Thank you so
Thank you. In the
much.
starting, yeah, in the starting, I think we were very consistent with the the content that we used to, even on our Instagram, we used to post every single day, because that is when we thought that we just started with the aim of the same thing that I mentioned, that in the starting we did not have a lot of people to tell us what to do, how to do. Of course, we had tutors, we did take classes for skill and professional, but even for like small doubts, which probably the tutor might not address, we did not had anybody to go to. So me and Tushita आपस में हम लोग discuss करके, and we used to make a decision. But that is when we started the idea कि चलो let's make a page, because that time I think we were not even qualified. Our last paper was remaining, and so I think it turned out to pretty good for the students also, because right till now we get like very small doubts, and we answer them all just because we know that how does it feel to be on the other side of the table. So yeah.
Okay. Let's then move on to professional journeys. Okay. So one thing that is really interesting about both of your journeys, that both of you pursued ACCA, and this is something that people need to look at, that you have ended up in quite different career paths, right? So Punya is currently working in audit, while Tushita is working in finance, right? So I think this highlights an important point for students, that ACCA professionals are not just limited to a particular set of role, right? We have multiple roles that we can explore across different domains. So how did you land your first professional role, and like what influenced your decision to pursue the career that you are currently in today?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, any of you? Yeah,
Okay.
you can.
So, my professional journey, the very first job that I landed, that was actually from a campus placement. That is why Punya and I, we always emphasize very much that if you're able to
Mhm.
get to a good college, which offers you good placements, there's nothing better than that. Because at a college, companies come with the intent that we need to hire these many students. So maybe in your initial years, even if you're not doing a lot of other professional qualifications by the side, they have a number in their mind. They're going to pick you up anyway. So try to land to a good college. I think the college played a very big role in, landing both of us our first jobs. Both of us got campus placements first. But if you talk about the professional qualification, when I sat for the interview, the rest of the cohort, other 200 students who were sitting with me, they were just doing their BCom. Same goes for Punya. But we, both of us, we had our ACCA degree almost nearing the end. We were, I think, 9 to 10
Nine
papers were done.
papers.
Yeah, 9 to 10
Yeah.
papers were done, and then the remaining papers were just remaining. So we were on the verge of qualification almost, and they had to begin our job 1 year later. So the moment we join, we will be fully completed by our qualification. So they were very happy to see that so many students, they're just doing their college, but we are managing to pull off the college and the ACA qualification together.
That
So that
separated
really,
you from the crowd, right?
yeah, that separated us from the crowd, and it gave the interviewer also the impression that we're not just random students chilling our way through life. We are serious about our professional careers. So that definitely helps you set yourself apart from the other candidates, and that is really needed also in today's time. You have crazy number of people lining up for jobs today. So if there's anything that can set you apart, bring it on. Have that thing in your profile, in your portfolio. So that is how we landed our first jobs. Punya got into EY that was her campus placement. Mine was in Deloitte in the audit domain. So that is how we landed into our jobs. And talking about the role that I pursue right now, so I switched into the core finance domain very early. In the initial few months itself, I had realized that audit was probably not for me. I had a fantasy of going into audit ever since I got to know about the world of accounting and finance. I come from a family of chartered accountants. Majority of my family members are CAs. So I have grown up hearing these terms, which people probably don't even hear until they come into their 11th or 12th. So I was growing up listening to all these words. So I was very, very excited to get into the audit domain. But then very early on, I realized that this career is probably not for me. Long working hours in the busy seasons, and never ending work when it comes to the particular time frames when the filings are near, and the lack of the family and the work-life balance basically. So I thought that probably this is not the best for me. I really value my family connections a lot. So, and my personal life as well. So that is when I decided that I should probably switch. And I was fortunate that I got an opportunity in the core finance domain. So now I'm really navigating through. I am still learning each day, every day. But yeah, definitely being in different domains, it really helps you get a perspective of how different things can look in different careers that are there in accounting and finance. So yeah, this has been my journey so far.
And that also really helps, like when building being ACCA, I'm sure, like since you are working in finance and you are more able to explain students better in the FM
Definitely.
paper and PM paper, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, right.
Especially the FM paper where we have those futures, forwards, and options concepts. That's literally what I do on a day-to-day basis. So I'm really
Uh-huh.
able to give them real life examples. I will take pictures on my work laptop and I'll send that on the WhatsApp group to show them that, see, this is what I taught you yesterday. This is how it's happening in the real world today. So yeah, it really makes the whole process very engaging for the students also.
Truly, truly. And what about Punya? Like, what attracted you towards audit? And like, you have been also teaching AA and AAA. So,
Yeah.
why did you choose audit over any other career?
Okay, so I did not choose the career. It just landed because of the, again, as Tushita mentioned, that it just landed as a campus placement. Of course, I
Hmm.
knew, and because we had just done the skill level, I was completed with double A paper, and I really enjoyed, even back in the day, I really enjoyed the paper a lot. So I thought that because that time around we were given options, but not really compulsive options. I applied for the audit domain position, but I am in consulting right now, risk consulting. Risk as advisory is my domain name. So I landed up in consulting, not in core audit, stat audit position. So, but till now, I think I am associated with a very big client, a US listed tech client, and it has been a great journey so far. And talking about the work over here, I think in terms of the corporate, everybody is just, and especially if it is EY, everybody is very skeptical whether we should be going with with the organization or not. And that's really a tough decision for a lot of people. As Tushita mentioned, that we have long working hours, sometimes it's never ending, probably you don't like the work, etc. But touchwood, till now for me it has been great with the team. The work is not so much, probably because I'm not yet in the stat audit. I'm yet to shift. I'm now shifting to internal audit from risk domain. It's starting from this July. So probably that makes a difference or a shift. I hope it's not, because I do really want to manage being associate together. And of course, yes, because again, the same thing as Tushita mentioned, that with FM and PM, she's able to give real life examples because she's working in real life also with those things. Similarly with me also right now, when I'm going through all of those training sessions, and I'm working on those things that I really teach and audit, that really becomes easier for me as somebody who wants to teach students with real life examples and not just want them to rote learn something, because double A is considered to be a theory paper, which is it is
Yeah.
not. It is a descriptive paper. So if you learn things, it is not going to help you out any which ways in either of the sections that you have. But when you
Mhm.
understand things, and when you understand the things that are really happening in real life, also using the same examples, it becomes easier for the students to also understand ki, acha, okay, in if I go to the audit field in the near future, I will also be doing the same thing. So it is important for me to understand rather than rote learn. So I think that really helps. And in my particular batches, a lot of people are already working in the audit domain. So again, it becomes really easier for them also, and they also tell it to the other students in the batch when we're having live sessions, etc. That, hey, listen, yes, this is something that I just now did in my corporate. And one of the students in my batch, we were having a live session, and he literally screen shared his work. He was working on his work laptop only, and he screen shared and showed that all the testing, how it is done, etc., which is super super helpful for other students also. So I think working in corporate has its cons, of course, but sometimes when you are doing your studies also simultaneously, you do get like the practical exposure to that as well. So yeah, that's been the journey till now.
Okay. Yeah, you emphasized on rote learning, right? And
Yeah.
one of the mistakes that ACCA students do is like try to think ACCA of like just another qualification. It is uh, really you can't really pass with rote learning, right? You have to understand it, and that is what ACCA really wants you to do, so that you get into the professional journey as easy as
Yeah.
possible. Okay, there isn't much constraint while you enter into the professional world, right?
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
true because a lot of because right now if a student comes from school or like bachelor's we have a tendency to rote learn हम लोग rectification as Indians हम लोग rectification में
Yep.
बहुत believe करते हैं and we think that here also it is going to work around but this is totally different from what we have studied till now. This is what I tell to like somebody who's just starting after their 12th or after their bachelor's because we do have this tendency we cannot lie. Even me and Tushita once we started we also had this tendency to rote learn something that eventually we thought ki, okay this is not working for us, we're not getting the scores in our mocks and tests, and then we rectified the same thing and we understood the things. And now Harsh, I think it has become even more easier for the students because back in the day we did not had chat gpt, we did not had AI to help us with like small things. Right now any student who does not understand any concept, rather than rote learning, the student can simply go to chat gpt, ask them real life examples and help them understand things. I'm not saying that it is going to replace a tutor. I'm just saying that if a small concept they put onto chat gpt or any of the AI tools, they will be able to get better outputs out of it and easier understanding and learning rather than just straight away going ahead with the rote learning path. So I would urge all of the students, because I know that a lot of people do tend to do self study also, and they come with a set notion that if it is a, especially if this is a theoretical descriptive paper, the thing that we can just rote learn, which is a very big mistake that students do. And maximum of the people, papers like SBL, papers like triple A, even AFM, because it's 50% of it is theoretical, people believe that these are comparatively easier papers because we can rote learn and we can just write and utter whatever we have rote learned. So that does not really work in ACCA. Also it should not work because in professional life, once you are going practically and using those things in your practical world, rote learn things are not going to help you out. The things that you've actually understood, those are going to help you out in your actual corporate professional life. Even if you don't want to go with corporate, even if you want to open your own thing, own venture, just like us, any of the rote learn things that we would have rote learn in 11th and 12th would not have helped us at all in being ACCA. जो भी हमने genuinely समझा होगा conceptual wise with finances, with accounting, that is only what is helping us out in doing our own finances, marketing strategies, growth strategies, whatever we are doing at being ACCA. So I think it is both ways in that regards.
So yeah. Uh, Tushita, like you have been working in finance domain, right? So, can you brief like what your typical work day looks like if you could brief us about that.
Sure. So my typical workday, I wake up early. I have no other choice. So I usually go for my workouts in the morning. So before I go to work, I like to get done with that. Then I get started with my day. 8:30, I leave for my workplace. 9 a.m. I have to be there because the stock market opens at 9:15. The pre-open happens at 9 a.m. onwards. And even before that, because overnight the gift Nifty keeps on trading, and the next day Nifty behaves like gift Nifty was behaving the night before. So even before the market opens, I'm constantly checking, monitoring how gift Nifty is performing. So my work day begins a day before. And yeah, so then I pretty much trade in the derivatives during the day as and when I find the opportunities. A part of my day also is spent on analyzing the portfolios of the different clients that we have at the firm. So a few key accounts where the portfolio values are quite huge. So we need to keep adjusting the numbers, see whether the stocks that they are holding, are they delivering the returns that we have promised to them or not. So if it's going the wrong direction, we sell out the stocks which are not performing up to the mark, and then we look for alternatives which can deliver better results for them. So yeah, we have different techniques in place to, different models that we run, different softwares that we have to help us optimize the portfolios of the clients. And yeah, 3:30 my work ends, and 4 p.m. I can leave work and then have the rest of the day for my 5 to 9, which is taking the live sessions for being ACCA.
Okay, okay. And like recently, from like last few years, you would have it would have been hectic because of the Trump factor, right? Because each day Trump says something, and you are again
Tell me
going to
about
manage your
it.
portfolio.
Yeah, tell me about it. That person, he's such an indecisive person, I would like to say. One day he agrees for a ceasefire, tomorrow there are again, bullets striking all across the place. So yeah, the way that he speaks, just one single tweet from him can literally wreck the markets all around the world. So past few, I would say last 2 years, they've been quite hectic. The very first year, it was relatively smooth because things were going quite normal. But earlier with the Russia-Ukraine war and now with the Middle East tensions that are going on, markets have been very, very volatile. A lot of people believe that if the markets are going up, most of the people will be benefiting. But when the market goes suddenly very high, the positions that we have taken, sometimes we've taken a very non-directional position. So I will benefit the most if the market stays within a range bound
Mhm.
way. But if the market suddenly goes very high or if the market suddenly falls too much, then that is the worst days for us. And we have seen quite a lot of those days in the recent times because of all of this. Suddenly he says there's a war, so the market trembles down. Suddenly he says we are agreeing for a ceasefire, and then the markets are 2% up. So it's been a crazy journey last few years.
Uh, Next one is to Punya. Like you have been working with Big Four, as you said, that you got through with the campus placement. But what are the tips that you would like to give for going through the interviews for Big Four, and like how they could excel? What are the pre things that they could do so that they could excel in their interviews in Big Four?
Okay. First of all, never lie. That would be my first advice. Be honest with yourself because the interviewer is far more experienced than you. The interviewer would know that if you are lying in your interviews or your resume by chance, they will immediately get that, and you are immediately in the blacklist list for obvious reasons. So I would say that's the first thing that you have to avoid while you are giving your interviews. Be honest because everybody knows what is your position. They've already seen your resumes. If it is a campus placement, they already know that you are a fresher and you might not have all the knowledge in the world for obvious reasons. It's good if you have it, but if even if you do not have it, that's not a deal breaker. So be honest with yourself and the interviewer. Remain confident. I know that this is easier said than done, but I would say ki if you are confident in front of the interviewer, even if you don't know something and you confidently say that, hey, listen, I do not know the answer for this one, or you try to answer the question in a different way, but you seem confident, and you seem confident in yourself and the career path that you have built for yourself and the resume that you have built for yourself, the portfolio basically, that really creates an impact in front of the interviewer, even if you have not done so much in your professional journey. So remaining confident throughout the interview. And sometimes, as students, when we are looking out for jobs or we are doing the interviews, etc., we feel, what if we do not get this job, this is the end of the world, and that is when we become more underconfident, right? Because we feel that what the other person is thinking for us. Because I am speaking this from personal experience, because I have seen my friend working in the HR domain, and I've seen him taking the interviews, etc., of the other students in front of me. And that is when, after the call is done, and then he says me that this person was really sounding confident, but you know that the resume is really empty, and still we are probably going to pursue the person. Why? Because the person was confident and looked confident, even if he or she was not confident in actual terms, probably putting up that mask, right? So it's essential that you are confident. Do not think of the result while you are giving your interview. Give your best. It's just like an exam. In exam also, at the end of the day, when you are sitting for the exam, if you have not studied for the syllabus and you're still sitting for the paper, you potentially cannot do anything rather than being having that confidence in yourself that whatever I'll do, I'll just give my best. So when you are doing the interview process, also make sure that you are confident, and whatever best you can do, you are doing at that particular point in time, and you're not just wasting time of yourself and the interviewer. That's the second thing. And third thing would be do proper research of the company, the role, everything in that regards, because that is really very important. If you're going for a role, particular role, I'll give you an example. When I was sitting for my campus placement interview back like 4 years, 4.5 years ago, as we mentioned, Tushita also mentioned that, our peers, they were just doing normal bachelors. Hardly anyone was doing any other thing apart from doing like bachelors. So there was a student of, we were sitting together, and there was another student, and it was an audit interview, right? It was for audit department. And the girl, she did not even know what audit is. And she was sitting for audit interview. So it just creates such a bad impact on the interviewer that you don't know what the role you are sitting for. At least if I want to work, because you are showing that you want to work in the department, right? But if you don't know what the department is, what is that department does, what is the how does the work look like, and it's so simple. You can just go on Google and type what is audit, and you'll get very easy answers. So it's not even a tough job. So do your proper background research of the company also. Like, know what is EY. Like, a lot of people don't even know what the full form of EY is, which is very surprising. You're sitting for a company, you want to work for the company, you're expecting them to pay you, do the promotions, etc., want to start the your growth, professional growth, etc., with the company, but you don't know what the company is. So that really creates a very bad impact on the interviewer. The interviewer is not expecting you to know every damn thing in the world. They just want you to know the basics of for what you are sitting for. So these three things should definitely, every person who is sitting for an interview, who wants to who wants to get that job, or don't want to get that job and just sitting for the experience, should have these three things at least. Other things are not there, it's okay, it's still fine. The interviewer will not cut your scores or grading, whatever they do, on the basis that do not know something, but basics should be clear enough. Like, sometimes they do ask technical questions also, and students, like, to us also, they come up, some of the students come up and they say that, ma'am, they asked us technical questions which we did not know, but we were very good in the basic questions and we really answered with confidence. I think that's enough, even if you don't know the technical aspect, because ultimately, if you go in any domain, in any company, in any team, whatever, they are going to train you. Like, if you don't know
Mhm.
Excel, they are
Yeah.
ultimately going to train you. Like, when I started with like my corporate journey, I knew basic Excel, like normal, plus, minus, etc. I did not know VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, whatever. They trained me. They still hired me because they knew I was a fresher. I did not lie to them that, I know advanced Excel really well, etc. So it's really important to be honest, so that they know what is your potential and how well you will fit in the team or the domain that you are interviewing for.
Insightful. I'm sure this would help many students out there trying to get interview. One thing that I really got to know, like that you should be clear on what kind of role you want to enter in, right? And you should at least know the basics of that, if not the
Yeah,
advanced, right?
correct.
Okay. And moving on to the next one, one thing I was really curious to know about you is that how are you able to manage all of those things, like a full-time job, being ACCA and other things like your personal life? So how could you manage all of those things?
I think this is a very, very, very common question that everybody asks us every time they meet us in person. Also, like, we have meetups, Tushita and I, we usually have meetups in Delhi. And when people come up to us and ask us other questions, this is, I think, one of the very common questions that everybody asks us, that how are you managing, etc. I was recently also sitting for an interview, and the person knew I was working with Eva and I'm working on my own venture also. And that person also asked me, and how are you working on both the things, because it becomes really difficult to manage the things. But the answer that I gave to him, I think I'd like to state over here also. Probably Tushita has some other answer, we'll hear her out as well. But for me, this venture, because from my childhood I have always enjoyed teaching. I don't know, it was inbuilt with me. In even today, right now at my home, everybody says कि इसको बचपन से teacher बनना था. Now she has become. That time I did not want to do ACCA or what professional qualification or anything. I did not know, but I think from my childhood it has been my passion. It is still my passion, and something that you really enjoy, जो आपको अच्छा लगता है, what you are passionate about, you at even at like 12 a.m. in the night, me and Tushita sometimes working till 1 2 in the night also. And अगर हमको वो बोला जाए कि corporate वालों के लिए, या you work for EY, at that point in time I'll just cry. I'll be like, go to hell. I'll not work for you at 2 a.m. in the morning. But for being a SSA, because it's something that is our own, is what we are passionate about, me and Tushita both, we try to take out time for the same thing. Of course, it becomes very difficult on some days to manage both things together, but I think that's the beauty of us working together, because we know each other from like 13 years. I know that if I am not able to take out time today for this particular task, she will manage. She will come into my shoes and do that task for me, and we'll be good. Similarly, vice versa, it happens. So I think that coordination really, really helps once we are doing multiple things together. And me and her are the ones every single day. Today also we went out, we did our work, we had a meeting in the afternoon. Just after that, we went out, had our thing, and then came back for this call today. So I think managing time management is really essential. I think I tell this to the students also, that managing, a lot of people say, ma'am, I'm not able to study because I have work. I'm not able to study because I'm going college. Managing time is an art, and you have to try and build that up over the years. We have also tried to build that up. In the starting, probably we were not this much comfortable with this setup, but now I think we are, because we have tried to manage time in a better scenario, because this is something that we really like to do. So that would be my 2 cents on it.
Okay. And what about you, Tushita?
My answer also is pretty much similar to what Punya said. Both of us, we've been throughout our childhood, we used to, like, earlier when you were kids, you play all of these games where you are acting out certain roles. So sometimes she would be the teacher, I would be her student. Sometimes I would be the teacher, she would be my student. So we really have this thing. It's very you can say it's a passion that we've had to teach someone who's in front of us. So that's been there since childhood. And then ultimately, this was never on the cards. We had never planned that we will do ACCA and then we'll start to teach ACCA. Everything just felt into the place like pieces of puzzle. And talking about how I manage both the things together, again, this is only possible because of, firstly, the passion that we have for it. Secondly, the flexible nature that we have with our work. So my work, it ends a little bit earlier, you would say, compared to the other works. And further, I start also early, and that is the reason why I'm able to come back early. And yeah, and I really, this is something which we are very passionate about. So even if I'm very tired, if you tell me to do the work that pertains to my office, probably I would say no. But if it is about taking a session for my PM students, my FM students, my SBL students, I'm all in. So it's just what you enjoy to do. It doesn't feel like a burden. It's something that, okay, oh wow, I have to take a class. So that's great. So I think it's the attitude that we have towards the mentorship, the taking classes for the students. That is what keeps us moving forward. And definitely we have to mention our students over here. The students who study at Being ACCA, they are the biggest motivators. They will time and again keep sending such cute messages to us saying that they really enjoy the classes that we have conducted. They were stuck somewhere, they saw a video and it really helped them. So all of these small messages here and there that we get, they just keep help us keep moving forward.
Okay, okay. Because like most of the corporate people, like after their 9 to 5, like the only thing that they can do is like at the end we can only scroll reels after our 9 to 5. But if you are really passionate about anything that you want to achieve, then this both are the examples. Okay. Next one is, and in any of our podcast, if we don't talk about AI in now, like the way the technology is going through, it becomes worthless. Okay, so AI is something that has been really a hyped up thing, and many students are concerned about the automation and the increasing use of AI tools. And we have seen layoffs in other industries, right? So, do you think that ACCA qualification is still worth it? And we also know that ACCA is going to change its qualification structure from 2027. So, do you think that, as per its tagline of ACCA, like think ahead, are we thinking ahead? Are we in the race of AI? Like, are we continuing with that, or are we lagging behind somewhere?
Okay, so I'd like to start with the first part of your question that you asked in terms of
Mhm.
the corporate thing and the layoffs thing. I have a practical example with myself. So, as I mentioned that I'm working with a US tech firm, and of course, because it is a tech firm, they are always looking at the automation portion of it, and everything should be auto-generated, auto-populated, etc. So over the last the time that I joined, everything was manual. We used to do manual entry on our Excel files. Nothing, I would say, not even one of the controls that we were testing that was automated. Okay. And by the time that right now, after 2.5 years, three years approximately, I would say 90% of the things are automated, but that is for us. It has made our life super simple. The tasks that we used to do, the work is same, the work is exactly the same, the controls are same, the testing is same, everything is same. It's just that earlier we used to take for a particular I would say a sample, let's suppose say we used to take 7 hours to complete that sample, the testing of that sample, right? With no automation being there. Now that same sample we test in 3 hours. So you see, it has cut down to like 60-70%, and we still have our jobs in place. It is just, I like, that is my viewpoint regarding the AI. Is I am somebody who comes from BCom background. I do not know anything about technology. I am very bad at technology. Even if you ask me something from the laptop and you ask me this configuration, etc., I would not know. I am that bad in technology. But if I don't adapt myself to the changing world, which is AI, technology, etc., and I don't understand how automation works, how to integrate things, let's suppose say, so I will of course be far behind the others for obvious reasons, because I'm not putting in efforts to upgrade myself, right? We are, if you talk about our life also, we are so much ahead than we were in 2000s or 2010s, etc., right? We have also evolved, so technology is also evolving, and we have to move with the technology to be in the pace. Somebody who thinks that the same traditional work is going to run for next 20-30 years is a stupid person. Let's just say that. So if you are genuinely a person who is trying to keep up with the technology, know what is coming up, try to learn them, inculcate in your daily life, I think nobody can lay you off in any domain, in any scenarios. That's the bottom line of it. Because in my team also, there have been 2 to 3 campus hires who came after me, a year after me, and they really struggled with the technology that we had implemented, and they were not able to cope up. And we unfortunately had to remove those people because they were not able to cope up with the technology, and they were not able to use the technology. So you should be able to whatever work that you are doing, at least for that work you should be having you should have the knowledge of how to use the AI. That's the only thing, because you're ultimately, this is the harsh reality that we have to accept what is coming in. It was not there 5 years ago, 4 years ago, but it is now. And after 4 5 years something else would come up, so you would have to keep evolving and keep growing with the new technology that is coming into place. And I think that if you are a student like that, or a person, a profession like that, nobody can replace you, nobody can lay you off. So that is the bottom line as per me.
Okay. And like one really good thing that I give an example to people, right? That since you are starting a new job, like you're a fresher in the market, when
Yeah.
you start out earlier, what you used to do is like you if you don't know Excel formulas or any complex VBAs and Power Query, you would have to ask your seniors and you have to wait for them to
Mhm.
respond you, and like uh, before even that, like you can't do it, like you were dependent on others, right? And now you just
Yeah.
with a single prompt you are like same to your senior, right? So with
Yeah.
AI assistance you are not left behind, you are ahead, right?
Correct. If you use it to best of your capacity and knowledge, I think you can very well be ahead of the other people who are probably just stuck behind.
Makes sense. Yeah. And Tushita, for the finance world, for in the stock market, obviously, like I won't trust my finance decision, and I'll never leave it to the cloud. So, what do you think about the change due to AI in your domain?
Sure. So a lot of students, I would address the students' concern first. Accounting and finance professionals, ACCA students, a lot of them, they are worried that AI is going to replace them. A very simple answer to this is AI is not going to replace you, but a person who knows how to use AI will surely do. So if you want to be irreplaceable, do not worry that AI will take your job. AI will not do that. AI will rather help you do your job better. So, like Punya was also giving the example, the time that she takes to do one thing from 7 hours, it got reduced to 3 hours. So, this tells you this is the power of AI. She is still working at her job, but she's faster, she's more efficient, she can get more work done within the same span of time. So you have to understand this that do not fear AI. Think of it like a friend. If you learn how to use AI, you will become irreplaceable. This is the first thing that every professional should get this straight. Further, how it has impacted in the world of finance. So when I had joined working at my firm, most of the things used to be done manually. So the traders, mostly like how you have arbitrators, the day traders, they used to manually enter all of the transactions. And even if you delay hitting that enter button by 1 second, the rates of the prices that you're trading, they fluctuate so quickly on the market because by the second the prices keep on fluctuating in the markets. So even if 1 second delay, you're hitting the enter button, you're gone. The rate is gone. So that is totally changed over the past few months, the past few years have been working because there have been algorithms that have been developed, softwares that have been developed, wherein you just feed the AI your preconditions that this is the place where I want to enter into a transaction. So AI will automatically match all of those conditions, and as soon as all conditions are ticked, it's going to enter into a transaction for you automatically. A human being would practically not be able to check and monitor all those things simultaneously together. But with the help of AI will monitor all of that within a span of nanoseconds. The decision is taken that yes, we have to enter into this trade. So it has changed so much over the past few years, past few months that I've seen that the day traders, the arbitrators, they are practically losing their job because mainly it's being fed into the algorithm that these are the conditions we want to match. And AI is so fast, a human and AI is definitely going to be very, very fast. So the slippages that used to be there, that the rates are, fluctuating too much because of the time differences. Now, if AI is entering into the transaction, you don't have to hit enter. It straight away goes into the system. So this is how it's becoming faster. It's becoming more efficient. Again, my firm also, uh, if I want to keep working at my position, I have to do a course which will teach me how to better use AI for the algorithm. So I have recently been enrolled for a program which will teach me better how to use AI in all of the things which are yet to come. So even as finance professionals, working professionals, you still have to keep upskilling yourself. Like Punya was also mentioning that they are introducing AI systems, the company she's working for. So all companies all around the world, they are introducing AI into their work to just fill in all the repetitive work to be done very quickly and more efficiently. So definitely, if you're a person who knows how to use AI, nobody is going to be replacing you at your work.
Makes sense. So, like a person using AI is able to do work more efficiently and more faster than ever before, right? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yep. So, all right, I think we have covered a lot today. I will close this off with a quick rapid fire round. No explanation needed. Just point to the person or give a one word answer. So, let's begin. Who replies faster to a message?
Both of us. Both of us.
Okay. Who is more disciplined? I think both of you again,
No,
Yeah,
not
both of
me.
right?
us. Both of us.
Who spends more time on LinkedIn?
Punya.
Mm, sometimes.
Who creates the fun environment?
Me.
Both of us. Hello.
Me.
Okay. Who is more likely to work on a weekend? Again, both of you. So,
Yeah,
Yeah, both of us.
both of us.
who is more likely to overthink a decision?
Tushita.
Me.
Okay. Kaplan or study hub?
Study hub.
Study hub.
Okay. So, last thing before we wrap up, if you could give one piece of advice, both of you, one-liner advice or a bit of final conclusion to every ACC student watching out there, what it would be.
I would say just don't take everything too seriously. I think enjoy the process of studying and taking your life also, because a lot of people generally do take ACCA or any other qualification that they are studying very seriously, and they just forget everything around themselves, their personal life, their social life, friends, family, whatever. They just I've seen people locking themselves up in a room 1 month before, which is not fair, because this is your time that you can actually enjoy your life. You cannot enjoy your life in like 70s, 80s. So this is a time that you can enjoy. So make a balance, maintain a balance between your personal life, professional life, your careers, and your studies.
Okay.
Totally agree
Thank
with
you.
Punya. Yeah, and I would say that from my side, it will be to celebrate all of your small wins. So, for example, I cleared my knowledge level paper. So, that's a win for you. That's one step closer to your final goal. So, go out and celebrate. Maybe go out to your favorite restaurant, have your favorite food, go visit a friend that you've been wanting to meet, go have that coffee which you've been wanting to have. So, yeah, celebrate all those small milestones, because when you ultimately, we start with this ultimate goal of qualifying for the qualification. I want to have that ACCA affiliate, that ACCA member status. But all of this, you're getting to that destination. But what's even more beautiful than reaching the final destination is the journey that you have in this. So, sometimes even I also miss being a part of, when my journey was going on, when I was a student covering all of the papers. So celebrate your small wins, document things with you that today I completed this paper, this is how I feel. So document your things and celebrate your small wins. Every time when, Punya and I, we did the qualification together. So whenever it was result day, in the mornings, we used to be very anxious waiting for the results. But when the results were out, we always used to go for a little bit of a celebration that, yes, we are able to clear the paper. And even after the exam happened, so we used to
Yeah.
book the same exam centers also. So after the exam was over, the month before the exam, we were totally logged in, preparing very hard. And then when the exam was over, we would straight away head to a restaurant, new coffee shop, and we would just, brush it all off away. So yeah, celebrate your small wins and enjoy your journey.
Yep, yep, yep. Enjoy the process before even you reach the final destination. Uh, Even with a small win, like celebrate it, right? So, yeah, just to wrap up, thank you so much for joining us today. It was really a pleasure for me to have both of you together in this podcast, and I'm sure our audience will take away a lot of valuable insight. It was really a free masterclass for me as well. So, thank you, both of you, for joining in.
Thank you,
Thank you
Harsh.
so
It was a
much.
pleasure being here. I hope this
Thank you
helps
so
the
much.
students.
Yeah, it surely will.